Hi everybody, welcome back to my channel. I'm Gio, and let's get started with this week's story. It's called Moon Crazed, a werewolf story. I found a quote that kind of fits this story. It's from the poem Hakonarmal by the 10th century skald Eyvindur Skaldaspillir. It's Norwegian. I know I'm mispronouncing it completely, but the quote fits. Unfettered will fare the Fenris wolf, and ravaged the realm of men. Did I hurt anyone? I groaned. Changing back to human the morning after a full moon always left a headache, and aching joints, and a horrible taste in my mouth. A full moon hangover, and it usually lasted a couple of days, sometimes a week. An early January full moon, the wolf moon, is the longest full moon of the year because the nights are much longer, nearly 14 hours, compared with the summer months, when they were only 9 hours. That is not a big deal, unless a person happened to be moon-cursed, a werewolf. 14 hours of uncontrollable rage compared to 9 was a horrible way to spend the night, unless said werewolf had a mate to protect them from the horrors of moon silver. Mine is Lucas, my boyfriend. He saved my sanity many times. Lucas ran his fingers through my hair and yawned. You slept the whole boring night with me, babe. And a few others, Miranda said from the couch next to ours, her arms in the air as she stretched. She sat with her lover, Jack, still asleep on her lap. 3 other wolves and their mates were sitting or laying at various parts of the large room. The wolves slowly transformed to sleeping humans. A fire in the fireplace chased off the winter chill. Your eyes are still silver, Lucas said. I had a pretty bad dream, I said. I know. I tried to wake you before you clawed the couch, Lucas said, kissing my forehead. God, did you howl. Hold this over your heart. Lucas handed me a large piece of polished obsidian, and I held it. The obsidian absorbed the negativity of the curse. Did I hurt you? I asked. No, Lucas said. Your eyes are looking more natural. I feel terrible, Jack said, from the other couch. It's like the flu and jet lag combined. Jack could shift into a smaller, dark gray wolf. What he lacked in strength, he made up in speed. Jack was the best tracker in the tribe, in wolf or human form. Wimp, Edmund said from the other side of the room. Edmund, our leader, could shift into a huge black wolf and was arguably the strongest wolf. Technically, I was stronger, but I couldn't control the transformation very well. I sat up and Lucas wrapped us in a blanket. The wolves were naked, our mates weren't. I shivered in spite of the blanket. If only the movies could see you now, Miranda said, throwing a blanket over Jack. Big, terrible, ferocious werewolves, and right now I could knock you over. Show me how tough you are, Jack said to his lover. I turned away so they could have a moment's privacy. Edmund stood up, wearing a blanket as well. He stretched, and Steph, his wife, adjusted his blanket. You know the drill. Our mates watched over us last night. It's only fair we make them breakfast. Corey, start cutting the potatoes. Jack, go out to the chicken coop and get the eggs. Start frying. Paola, you've got bacon duty. Salvador, I want a steak with my eggs. I bet the others do too. If I pretend I didn't hear you, will you let me sleep a little while longer? Salvador said. When he wanted, he shifted into a large, dark gray wolf. Get up, or you clean the bathrooms for a week. So unfair, Salvador said. What will you do? Paola said. She was the only female wolf in the tribe. She transformed into a quick gray wolf that could jump. Steph wants fresh squeezed orange juice, Edmund said, kissing his mate. Jack, why don't you take Gavin with you? You know what he's like the morning after a full moon, Miranda said, yawning. Can't we leave him in the cage a little while longer? The wolves who don't have mates are locked in cages during the moon. If not, they'll go on a rampage and kill everything. It almost happened to me, but I met Lucas just in time. I whispered to Lucas, though every wolf could hear it anyway. Thank you for last night. Lucas nodded and yawned. He leaned in to kiss me and stopped. Your breath is terrible. Hurry and feed me, because it's your turn to put me to bed. Don't you mean take me to bed? Said a tired voice coming up the stairs. Gavin, I said, don't make me grumpy. The furniture couldn't take it, Gavin laughed. He had 3 scars on his cheek that stayed with him even in wolf form. I'm not going outside with Jack. It's too cold. I'll do coffee. Gavin, how did your worthless butt get out? Jack said. It's easy, Gavin said, once you've got hands. While the wolves make us breakfast, Steph said, take all the crystals we used last night and set them out in the sun. We need to let the sunlight cleanse them and recharge them. Especially yours, Corey. What's a bunch of rocks do? Gavin said. I guess they don't work on you, Paola said, but for the rest of us they get rid of all that moon energy. Me and the other wolves got dressed and started our breakfast chores. Edmund and Gavin were next to each other in the kitchen. I'm kind of fuzzy about last night, Gavin said. That's because you had too much vodka, I said. Not enough, Gavin said. I vaguely remember something or somebody howling last night. Was that you, Corey? Did little Gavin the pretty pup get scared? Salvador said. Poor pretty pup. F you, Gavin said. I had a nightmare, I said. It was silver everywhere. I couldn't find Lucas. It was like running on ice, but it was made of silver and stretched forever. No matter how much I ran. Wolves don't remember nights of the full moon, Salvador said. At least I never have. Edmund, what does it mean? Paola asked. Is Fenrir trying to tell us something? Fenrir, god of wolves, son of Loki, a force of pure chaos, as much an enemy as he is a friend. Edmund went to the door of the kitchen. Miranda, Lucas, check the news feeds. Did anything weird happen last night? I chopped about 20 pounds of potatoes, loaded 3 fry pans with old bacon grease and chili powder and paprika, and fried the potatoes. Jack came in with the eggs. Lucas came into the kitchen, his laptop open. Miranda followed. I found a recent posting about an animal attack downtown, Lucas said. Witnesses say a large dog went on a rampage at a park near 4th and Main, Miranda read. 3 people were taken to the hospital. That's Hyde Park. Anyone die? Edmund said. Doesn't say, Lucas said. It does say that the police couldn't find the animal. Any sighting should be called in immediately. Could it be Wesley? Paola asked. Edmund scowled. I'd appreciate it if you didn't mention my son, but no, it couldn't be him. His wolf is too big to be mistaken for a large dog, Steph said, stepping into the kitchen. He takes after Edmund. Then who is the wolf? Salvador said. Maybe it's a new wolf, Jack said. We need to find out before he or she draws the hunters here. Edmund said. While our mates sleep, the rest of us go hunting. Except you, Lucas. I want you to go with Corey, just in case. Steph went outside and returned with a small piece of obsidian. Corey, take this. We are too close to the full moon, and I worry about you. We divided into 3 teams. Gavin and Paola checked on the victims at the hospitals. If anyone was bitten, there's a chance they could become moon-cursed. Edmund and Salvador checked with the police. Salvador had a friend who had a friend. Jack, Lucas, and I visited Hyde Park. If you tell Gavin about this, I'll use your shoes as a chew toy, Jack said. He shifted to Wolf, and I put the harness and collar on him. Everybody would think Lucas and I would be walking a well-trained dog. If Jack listened to us. I packed Jack's clothes in a backpack and slung it over my shoulders. Lucas took hold of his harness. We walked Jack throughout the park, and it was only when we got close to an area cordoned off with crime scene tape that Jack picked up a scent. An officer stood guard while a couple of people in crime scene jackets walked around. Jack whined as he circled the area. Is that your dog? A plainclothes officer walked up to us. Yes, sir, I said. I placed a hand on Jack's harness, atop Lucas's hand. That's Jack. Sit, boy. If wolves could roll their eyes, Jack would have. Sit, Jack. You're making me look bad, I said. You're not talking to him right, Lucas said. Jack, sit, and I'll give you a steak later. Jack sat. That dog's got you two trained. The officer knelt next to Jack and let Jack sniff his hand. Jack barked and wagged his tail. Part wolf? Kind of looks like it, Lucas said, but I wouldn't know. My dad picked him up from the animal shelter when I was little. Friendly dog, the officer said. Jack was with you last night? Snoring away, I said. He's a lazy old mutt that sleeps in the sun all day and sleeps on the couch all night. If we talk long enough, he'll fall asleep right now. Jack barked. What happened here? Lucas asked. Animal attack, the officer said. Bigger dog than yours went on a rampage. Jack snorted. I leaned over and scratched his head. Don't listen to him. I think you're a big dog. Jack laid down and rolled over. Lucas scratched his chin a couple of times. Wish I had his life, the officer said. Anyone hurt? I asked. Unfortunately, the officer said, bending down and scratching Jack's ears. I think I found something. Come and see this, one of the crime scene detectives said, and the officer who talked with us walked that way. Can you follow the scent? I asked Jack. Jack nodded. We followed the scent until we got out of the park. Then Jack ran. Lucas and I had to run to keep up, but even then Jack made so many twists and turns that we couldn't follow him. A wolf ran faster than a man, and a werewolf can run even faster than a wolf. I called up the others and told them about the park and tried to catch the scent Jack followed. Jack was more sensitive than any of us. When I wasn't a wolf, I didn't have the senses Jack had as either wolf or human, unless it was right before a full moon, which had ended last night. I needn't have worried. I turned a corner to find Jack, in human form, sitting on a dumpster. I followed the trail to a circus, or performance artists, or whatever it is. In January? Lucas asked. It's at the Gillespie Auditorium, Jack said. Did you find the person? I asked. Too many people have walked over the trail. I know what the person smells like, Jack said. Give me my clothes and let's see who we can find. Just a minute, Lucas said. Corey, look at me. My eyes still normal? I said, reaching into my pocket for the obsidian. So far, Lucas said. Once the harness was in the pack and Jack was dressed, we walked a block over to the auditorium. A large special events arena. It hosted everything from hockey games, basketball games, rock stars, concerts, ice dancing events, even a circus in January. We circled around the huge building. Lots of tour buses, cars, and large trucks were parked in the rear. Few people were out because of the cold. All the doors were locked, except the ones by the buses and trucks. Those doors had someone by them. As we approached, one guy stood by the doors and blocked the way. Sorry, this area is off limits. We only wanted to look around, Lucas said. First show is at noon. Come back then. The full moon blossomed in my mind. The hated silver. My wolf grew restless. We'll come back later, Jack said, taking my arm. He whispered, Close your eyes. Your wolf is manifesting. I quickly did what he said, and Jack led me away from the others. Hold the obsidian, Lucas said. Don't lose control. We need to get you some sunglasses, Jack said. Why is this happening? Lucas asked. It doesn't happen to any of the others. Each wolf is different, Jack said. I track. Edmund is strong. Paola is quick and jumps. Gavin's just crazy, I said. And annoying, Jack said. But once he knows you as a friend, he'll stick with you no matter how crazy the problem. What about Corey? He's strong, but he can't control it. I think you're sensitive to the moon, Jack said, chuckling. Moon cursed with a helping of fries. Jack stopped, sniffed the air. Did you smell anything? I asked. Even though we had some distance from the door, I still felt the moon in me. It's close, Jack said. Get control of yourself. Your eyes are still silver. I don't know what's wrong, I said, clutching the stone as hard as I could. The closer we get to the other wolf, the more silver I see. If you can't control yourself, you'll be useless. I'm calling Edmund, Jack said. Lucas, you might need to take Corey back to the compound. I'm okay. I took a step away. The wolf inside my soul grew restless, and in my mind the great silver beast paced back and forth. In the reflection of a window, my eyes blazed. Twin silver points of light. The hated moon. The dreaded silver that stole my mind and let the beast have full control. The moon that must be kept under control, or people died. Lucas took my hand. I'm here. Lucas fought the moon and kept me sane. My eyes blazed brighter and my skin itched. My muscles ached to shift. Even though it was daylight, the silver of the moon shone about me. Someone here did not fight the moon, or did not know how to fight the moon. Gavin and I had one thing in common. I barely controlled the wolf and struggled against the moon. Gavin had no mate to fight the moon for him, and he struggled against it as well. I would be caged every month, like Gavin, if I hadn't found Lucas. Lucas had stayed up the last 3 nights protecting me from the moon's influence. The wolf we hunted did not fight the moon. That meant it had no mate to sit with them and fight for them. Fenrir had smiled on me when I found Lucas. I owed Lucas my life, my soul, my heart. While Jack called Edmund, I pulled Lucas to the side. I love you, I said. I couldn't hide the quiver in my voice. Corey, what's wrong? His hand cupped my cheek and drew me close so our foreheads touched. I started to say, but how could I say this? I need... Corey? Lucas said. What happened? I took a moment to compose my voice and tried to figure out how to say the jumble in my head. It's a wolf that doesn't fight the moon, doesn't even want to. Somehow, the silver is leaking through it, affecting me. It's okay, Lucas said, squeezing my hand. I'm here. It's made me realize what you've done for me, I whispered. You've saved me. I've saved you from a fate worse than Gavin, Lucas said. Let's get home before this overwhelms you. I'll talk to Edmund, I said. I really love you. I know. Garbage cans banged somewhere. Something clattered on the road. He's running, Jack said, sniffing the air, but still on his phone. Edmund, somehow he knew we were here. Lucas, stay behind me, I said. The moon blazed inside me, and the fury made me clench my fists. Where do you think you're going? Jack said, his phone line still open. Chase the wolf, I growled. Oh my God, Lucas, get Corey out of here, Jack said. He reached up to my head and forced me to look at my reflection. My hair had turned silver, my eyes blazed like flashlights, and I was now 6 inches taller than Jack or my boyfriend. Fight it, Jack said. Help me, I whispered. I can feel his rage. Where's the crystal? Lucas said. Look at me. Hold the crystal. Imagine all the moon energy going from you and into the crystal, just like last night. Fenrir, smile on us, Jack said. Edmund will know what to do, I hope. He's on his way. I have to find this wolf, because if the moon still has him, there's plenty of targets, because it's noon in the city. If he's berserk, I have to stop him. I can't stop you if you lose control. Hang on until the others get here. I closed my eyes and willed myself back to normal, back to Corey. I imagined me and Lucas sitting on the couch together, holding hands. That's it, Jack said. Lucas, guard my clothes. The moon was strong. Fight it. Fight it. On some level, I knew when Jack had left. I heard the sounds of cars, of people, of life. Jack would need help. And who knew how long it would take Edmund and the others to get here? I was the only one available. I opened my eyes. We have to go, I said. I can't explain it. I think Jack's going to be in trouble. Lucas packed Jack's clothes in the backpack. How would you know that? Follow me. I followed Jack's scent. I was still human. A wolf howled. Jack had found him. I ran, keeping my head low to hide my eyes. My pants were too short to reach my shoes. My ankles showed. An uncontrollable transformation did not happen at noon, and not when the full moon was over. This is impossible. The cold silver raged inside me. My wolf clawed at my soul to be free. Jack needed help. The world spun in slow motion as my wolf neared freedom. I rounded some corner. Where was I? I found 2 wolves, Jack, and a large mottled gray one that was easily double the size of Jack. It had odd white makeup on its snout. Silver moons shone in its eyes. It opened its mouth to growl, then saw me. Its growl was deep, filled with hate. Old yellowed teeth, at least 5 times more than there should be, sprouted from black, leprous gums. Long yellow claws descended from dirty, ragged paws. It narrowed its eyes to twin slits of silver. Silver infested. It lunged at Jack, but Jack was faster and jumped out of the way. It barreled at my friend, moving faster than a human eye could see, but not faster than a wolf's. Jack dodged to its rear and nipped on its leg, trying to hamstring it. The big wolf whirled with the speed of silver, knocking Jack into a garbage can. Jack lay stunned. The big wolf seemed to chuckle as it approached him, its jaws dripping bloody spit. It snarled. The light reflected off its obscene fangs. I snarled. The big wolf stopped and turned to look at me. Its silver eyes locked on mine. It had never changed back after the full moon. This man was moon-crazed. Its eyes never left mine, and its growl rumbled like an old diesel. A challenge for domination on the very first date. This was not a nice wolf. When the moon took control, neither was I. I nearly killed Gavin once. "Corey, don't!" Lucas yelled. I let the silver flow through me, let the moon sing inside me. I lowered my chin and countered the wolf's silver stare, unblinking. A low growl escaped my lips. Challenge accepted. A matching growl escaped the other wolf. Behind the mottled gray beast, Jack managed to stand and howled. The sound would carry, maybe even a mile or 2. Edmund and the tribe would know exactly where we were, and that we needed help. The other wolf must have understood the cry, for its eyes broke contact with mine, breaking the challenge. It tried to run past me. My wolf wouldn't let it. I stepped in its way. My silver wolf almost pushed its way out of me. "Corey, no!" Edmund yelled. It was too late. Silver, my wolf, was free. The hated moon flowed in me. I looked down at the moon-cursed wolf before me, and it stepped back. I growled. It didn't lower its head. "Corey," Salvador yelled, "back away!" The other wolf lunged, its jaws going straight for my neck. "My God!" Paola yelled. My silver wolf burst out of me, ripping through my clothes. The pack. I howled and looked down at the beast. The dreaded moon ran cold in my veins. This man had embraced the moon, let the chaos flow through him. A monster who might have murdered last night. Why hadn't he been caught? It's a smart wolf. My muscles shivered. Fur grew across my entire body. My bones shifted, changed. The wolf tried to grab my neck, but I shook him off. He wanted a challenge. He got one. I returned his stare, but this time I was a wolf. Bigger, stronger, but I couldn't control the moon. The moon's rage filled me. Silver pumped through my veins. I howled my fury. The man didn't control the moon either. He let it control him. He backed away, growling. I risked a glance at Jack. The smaller wolf took to its feet, but he held his right paw at an angle. Nobody hurts my friends. I stepped toward the bigger wolf, forced the mottled gray berserker back far enough so Jack could limp to Edmund and the others. The moon madness lit the other wolf's eyes. He might be past saving. He jumped, jaws too wide to be natural, eyes blazing, spittle flying. How can any creature fit that many teeth in its mouth? I met his jump with my own and batted him to the side. The wolf hit the same garbage cans that he knocked Jack into. He stood, growling, and lunged. I caught him by the throat and threw him to the ground and stood on him. He squirmed, tried to roll away, but I wouldn't let him. "It's okay," Lucas said, running up. "Get back here, you fool," Salvador yelled. Lucas placed the obsidian on the other wolf. "Let the moon go. Let it go." The other wolf jerked, but Lucas kept the obsidian firm against the wolf. It twisted and jerked, freeing itself from my paws. It hit Lucas in the ribs, knocking the obsidian in the air. Lucas hit the wall and grunted. "Nobody hurts my mate." I grabbed the other wolf's neck in my jaws and tossed it to the wall. I ran up and body slammed it against the wall. The weight of my large silver wolf knocked the breath out of the other wolf. It slumped to the ground and tried to jump up. I stood atop it and pinned it against the ground. I made sure it could feel my jaws tighten on its neck. It either gave up or I would kill the berserk beast. I growled, putting as much menace in it as I could. The other wolf whimpered. It relaxed. I won. "I'm okay," Lucas said, crawling over and placing the obsidian once more on the moon-crazed wolf's body. The hated silver drained away, but it didn't happen fast. I had to end this as only my wolf could. I locked eyes with the beast and let my silver wolf free. The other wolf sobbed. The world blurred and spun. I swam in a silver river. Was this a dream? A vision? A man, early 20s, a clown? From the circus. An innocent stood on a street corner 2 nights ago. The second night of the wolf moon. Night before last. He had advertised the circus, entertaining late-night passers-by with his antics. He was juggling, singing, happy, making nearby people laugh. On a brightly lit street corner, no shadows, early evening. The sun had set, and the full moon had risen. Its evil light had awakened a beast. The man made a balloon monkey for a couple. A growl, a bark, a snarl. The man pushed the couple aside and became victim himself. A wolf attacked, bit him, and ran off. The doctors had given the man a shot, bandaged the wound, sent him away, never realizing the injury was deeper than the flesh. The moon rose on the third night, last night. The innocent man changed. The hated silver pushed his unsuspecting mind out of his body and let the moon run rampant. My wolf stared him down until the wolf looked away. The obsidian calmed him, and his teeth retracted. The long claws disappeared. The mottled fur ungrew. He shifted to human with a sigh. His tears stained the pavement as he regained control. His face was speckled with white clown paint, with blue triangles around the eyes. The remains of his clown costume hung on his body. He had a large wolf bite on his leg. "The moon killer's coming," the clown muttered as he passed out. It was over. I howled and shifted to human, drained. Lucas caught me. Jack shifted to human, holding his injured arm. I told them what the silver had shown me. "I don't know if it's true," I said, "but I believe it." "Paola, bring the car," Edmund said. "True or not, that's a recent bite. There's another wolf in our territory." Later, back at the compound, I lay in the bed, shirtless. Lucas held a Tibetan singing bowl. Steph placed various crystals around me, and one on each major energy point in my body. In the center of my chest, she placed a heavy, clear quartz crystal cluster. "I don't want you to move from this spot," she said. "Obsidian, tourmaline, amethyst, and onyx to deal with the negativity and balance your energy. Lucas, I want you to keep bringing the crystal bowl to heal Coryzara." "How long do you want me to do it?" Lucas said. Until Corey's eyes and hair aren't silver, she said, smiling. A bunch of us will be downstairs figuring out how to get that guy back to normal. You'll be on your own. If I can't get up, what am I supposed to do? I said. Ooh, Loverboy is at the mercy of his boyfriend. Gavin peeked his head in and yelled. Do you want me to turn the lights out and close the door? Thank you, everybody, for joining me for this story. I hope you enjoyed it. Have a great day. Peace.